Alrighty, here we go. Today we're going to be simplifying expressions, but I'm going to specifically say that we are separating and combining terms. So make sure that you've got this written on your contents page as well as on your next available page. Turn on the lamp, see if that helps us any. All right, so let's just start with a random expression. -2 plus c minus 3d plus 4 minus 7 plus 2c. Okay, pretty long. We're not going to actually solve problems with two variables this year, but for right now, we've got them. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is separate. So I'm going to draw lines between each set of terms. And I'm going to make sure my line goes above and below the line so I don't accidentally think it's a 1. So there's 1, and we're going to stop behind the number or letter. We're going to keep the plus or minus, and when we get to it, multiplication and division, and we're just going to separate out each term. So again, make sure that your lines are long enough that they don't get mistaken for a 1. We don't want anybody thinking this is 1 minus 21 or anything like that. Okay, so that is how we separate terms. So we're going to say keep plus or minus with constant or variable. This is a big, big, big deal. And you'll see why in a minute. But for right now, I want to do another separating. So let's go 71 plus b minus 32 minus 21a plus 376 minus x. Okay, so we've got a bunch of terms. I want you to take a moment and see if you can separate that out. Okay, I didn't expect you to get it done before I just interrupted you. So this time I'm going to go from the back. And it's just because I'm being weird about it. So the x needs the sign. The 376 needs the sign. 21a needs the sign. 32 needs the sign. B needs the sign. Now, when we get to 71, we don't have a sign in front of it. What's that you say? Anything that's not specifically negative is positive? You are correct. So for our purposes, we're going to put 71. We're going to put a positive sign in front of 71. Okay, so here's all of our different things. What we know with this one is that we can combine things that go together. So let's take one of our highlighters and let's highlight anything that is just a constant. So B is a variable, we're not going to use that. A is a variable, we're not going to use that. And X is a variable, so we're not going to use that. So I'm just looking at the constants on this one. So I have positive 71. I have negative 32. and I have positive 376. Those are all my constants. Right? So let's take a moment and add these together. So I'm just gonna go right over here because I'm just looking to save some space. So 376 was positive, 71 was positive, 32 is negative. So I'm gonna hang on to that for a second. I'm just gonna add these two together. So 6 plus 1 is 7, 7 plus 7 is 14, 3 plus 1 is 4. So now I have 447 and they are positive. Now I'm going to bring my negative 32. And because they are integers of the opposite direction, I'm going to take the sign of the bigger and I'm going to subtract. So 7 minus 2 is 5, 4 minus 3 is 1, 4 minus nothing is 4. So we have 415 and it's positive. I'll highlight that real quickly because what I want you to see is that we can now go 415. You can have the positive if you really want it, but you don't need it. Then we're going to take our plus b, our minus 21a, and our minus x, and just put them there. So this is what we call simplified. I know, some of you just got triggered because you were thinking about a fraction. We're not simplifying fractions, we're simplifying expressions. So this is simplified. Okay. I'll give you a second to catch up because we all know Ramsey talks fast. Okay, so I'm going to give you negative 7b plus 4a plus 17 plus 3b minus 2a minus 15. Okay, get that written down. All right, so we're going to go ahead and make our divider lines. And yes, at this point, I do expect you to give me the divider lines. Later, when we get better, we can go without them, but for now, I want you to have the divider lines. Okay, so you remembered to put the negative or the positive with the number or the variable. Okay, so let's go back through, and since we let's use the same color we used for our constants in the last one, and let's highlight the terms that are constants. So that has a variable, that has a variable, that's a constant, that has a variable, that has a variable, that has a constant. Okay, now I want you to grab another color and go through and highlight anything with a b constant or b variable. So my highlighter's sketchy, causing some troubles there. And then with a third color, I want you to go in and highlight anything with an A. Now in this expression, I have given us 3 variables or 3 sets of terms that can be combined. So what I want to do is I want to take my highlighter and create a line for my constants. and then I'm going to put my constants in there. So we have positive 17 and we have negative 15. We're not going to do the math yet. Leave it there. Then we're going to have another line. Highlight that out a bit for our things that have b's. So negative 7b, positive 3b. And then our third one for our a's. So we have positive 4a and we have negative 2a. All right, so each of these is now a quick problem. Positive 17 and negative 15. 17 is larger, so we keep the sign of the 17 and we subtract, so that gives us a positive 2. Negative 7b and positive 3b. Okay, here's what you need to know. The b is just b. So we're going to have b over here. Now we're going to look at negative 7 plus 3. So we're just taking the coefficient, negative 7 and positive 3. So because the 7 is larger, we're going to take the sign of the 7 and we're going to subtract. 7 minus 3 is 4. So now we have negative 4b. Okay. And I didn't highlight far enough, so I just need to go back and grab a little more color. It's all good. All right. Positive 4a and negative 2a. Again, we're just going to throw a over here for a minute. We're going to look at our coefficients. And we're going to take positive 4 and negative 2. And again, because 4 is larger, we're going to take the sign of the 4 and subtract. So this is positive 2a. So to simplify, we've already simplified everything, so we can take positive 2 minus 4b plus 2a. And it's okay if you did them in a different order. There is no rule about, there is no rule about right or wrong. You can put them in whatever order. Okay, there we go. You're going to have a half sheet today to do some separating of things. You're going to do a few of those, and then you're going to do a few of these where you're going to simplify. All right, you guys are doing great. I am really excited. You got this. Go get it.